I'm joined by University of Central Oklahoma defensive back David Williams. David, thank you for taking time to come on and talk to me this afternoon. Could you start by telling the listeners and viewers out there a little bit about yourself?
What's up, y'all? I'm David Williams. I'm from Waco, Texas. I went to school at Robinson High School, and I'm a junior here at UCO.
Now, when I was doing my research and found your film, I found it interesting that you were both a corner and a strong safety in high school because I feel like that's kind of two different positions.
Yeah.
Just talk kind of a bit about what kind of was that experience playing both corner and strong safety.
Well, in high school, it was kind of weird because we ran a different kind of defense. So from going to strong safety to corners, more so like being in the box. I was more so like a linebacker and whatnot in high school. And then my senior year, I moved to corner because I tested really crazy.
And was that move like how was that move to corner like for you? Was it seamless? Was it tough? Like what was that move like?
The move was just like it's more so being like it goes from playing off to being in a press situation and not being in the boxes a lot. So that's really the only thing. It was a lot harder to understand how to press from playing 12 yards off and in the box.
And how long would you say it took you before you really felt comfortable being a corner?
It probably took me like I would say to like week 5. I started getting comfortable.
And when I was watching, because you mentioned being in the box, yeah, there were several times I saw you were really close to the line of scrimmage. They sent
Hmm.
you on blitzes and whatnot. What I found impressive though was your ability to find a hole in the offensive line so quickly and shoot through the gap. How are you able to consistently do that?
It's honestly just instinct and doing what I'm told to do. So if I'm told to blitz right there, that's what I'm gonna do, and then I have the instincts to get through the holes.
And then right when it comes to tackling, because you shoot in there so fast, it'd be easy to over pursue, take a bad angle, miss the tackle. But you're able to bring the defender down more times than the offensive player down more times than not. How are you able to still execute a clean, solid tackle despite coming in there at the speed of which you do?
I would say it's really just maintaining my leverage, not worrying about so much what he has to do, but worrying about where I have to be. And usually, if I'm where I'm supposed to be, I can put a good lick on somebody.
And you mentioned the good lick. I think that's something that we learn pretty quickly that you do bring it. Where does that physicality come from?
It honestly comes from when I was a little kid. My dad had me playing both sides of the ball, and I really fell in love with running the ball at first. And then once I started like realizing like I'm not too much of a juker, I like running people over. I started hitting people harder too.
That okay now you do you miss being a runner though? Like do you still wish you could get the ball in your hands a couple of times and yeah.
Yeah, I really do still wish I get the ball in my hands, man. I feel like I could score some touchdowns. I'm pretty dynamic out there.
Oh, shit, then I feel like we should petition Coach Curley. But listen, like we can throw, like you're a creative mind.
Yeah,
I'll
I
offer my
would.
services. And now there's a decent amount of Texans on the team, and I always ask this because I think when most people hear state of Texas, they immediately think high school football.
Mhm.
What was playing high school football in Texas like for you?
For me, the experience wouldn't be like your Duncanvilles or your DeSoto's. My school was more of like a baseball town. So we go to state every other year in baseball. Where I'm from is Robinson, Texas. But the football for me was more like it was something that was fun for me, but they just didn't take it serious in my town. So it wasn't really a big like let's go help the football team out.
And now after your time there, you start your career at Houston Christian. Kind of talk about your initial recruiting process there, and what was it about Houston Christian that kind of stuck out to you?
Well, to Houston Christian, I was going to go to Missouri State, but the coach told me that there wasn't any more spots on the roster for me. So he called up a coach at Houston Christian and got me a PWO, and that's what I decided to do.
And now you got there in 2020, which, as we know, was the pandemic. So now I imagine it's tough in general going from high school to college in general. You're kind of on your own for the first time a little bit. You're having to adjust to a higher level of football, but on top of that, now there's a global pandemic. Just kind of talk about what that experience was like during that time for you.
Well, the experience honestly wasn't it was a great experience, but the thing I didn't like the most about it was that I didn't get to have a prom. But I also like that we went home for spring break and never had to go back to school again. So it was kind of cool for me. My parents were kind of strict about it though, so I was inside a lot. But once I got to Houston Christian, it was different. Like you said, I was basically on my own, making my own decisions. But I liked it. It was fun. I met some of my bestest friends in that pandemic.
And now I noticed they moved you to linebacker. So now here we are. This is pretty much your third position.
Mhm.
Kind of talk about what that transition was like for you going from being a DB to more of a linebacker.
It honestly wasn't that hard of a transition because in high school, really what I was used to. Um, it was more so just learning the scheme. That was I would say the hardest thing because linebackers have to do different things than DBs do. So that I would say that I could say that was a good reason too why I'm pretty good at shooting gaps.
And did it like what kind of was the maybe the physicality jump for you? Because I imagine obviously an FCS program and the FCS level is going to be different than what you were facing
Mhm.
in your high school career, week in and week out. Like it was the jump in physicality or speed of the game, was that something that maybe um surprised you or took you longer to adjust to, or were you able to find your groove in that regard pretty quickly?
The speed of the game, I would say, was kind of hard for me to get a hold of, but physicality's always been there. I felt like I'm always the most physical in the room.
And now you spent a couple of years there, and then you decided to transfer to Cisco. So kind of talk about what went into your decision to transfer from Houston Christian.
To transfer from Houston Christian, I did that because I just wanted to, I wanted to make a name for myself. I wanted to bet on myself, and I was just ready to roll that dice.
And how did you decide, or I guess end up at Cisco?
I had a couple of my roommates who were at Houston Christian with me. One of them's name was Channing Canada, and the other one was Marcus Edwards, and I had another one named DJ. But Marcus and Marcus had went to Cisco the season before. I had a roommate from Houston Christian. His name was Marcus Edwards. He got me in touch with the coaches, and they got me a spot over there.
And now, I know obviously last chance use a thing. I think people have kind of gotten a taste of what the JUCO experience is like.
Mhm.
Um, Kind of talk about what that adjustment was like coming from Houston Christian to Cisco in the junior college experience.
The junior college experience is something crazy. I actually met some of my best friends down there. It was real fun for me, man. Like it's you go from big city Houston to tumbleweeds and Cisco, but it was fun, man. It was just like I don't know. I guess we were just all there living together in the same place. Like, yeah, there's gonna be ups and downs. People gonna get into fights and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we all know we got the same goal, trying to get out of there. And it was just fun being around all those guys.
And like you said, kind of being where there's tumbleweeds and whatnot. I mean, I imagine that would kind of force you to focus on school and
Yeah.
football. I said, so like, but so like for like the entertainment and like, I mean, what did you all do to kind of like, I don't know, get away from football at that point? Where I imagine the options were probably
hmm
small to none.
Yeah, well, we lived in the place called the P Hall, and there's a reason why we call it the P Hall, but it's really called the President's Hall though. But the girls lived up the hill, and then we would usually we would go up there sometimes, or we'd go to like Stephenville or Abilene. You know, those are like 45 minutes an hour away from us. So if we wanted to get away, we'd do something like that, or we'd just hang out behind the President's Hall because there was a basketball court right there.
Okay, okay. Now on the now how would you rate your basketball skills?
My basketball skills, I'd probably say I'm a great defender. I'm like a 3 and D wing.
Okay, 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 okay. Uh, Now on the field, you got moved back to strong safety.
Yes.
At some point, I imagine you got to be like, can I just stay at a spot? I just stay at a spot.
Yeah.
Oh, so having spent the 2 years prior as a linebacker, now going back to strong safety, was there
hmm
an adjustment period for you moving back to that, or were you able to kind of pick up where you left off playing that position in high school?
I would say the only thing that I really lacked was probably technique. So knowing that I was going to come here and play that safety position, that whole summer and the whole time leading up to even coming up here, then the summers before that, I had been training myself to be a DB. So the transition, it took a while, and it's where it's at now. I feel like I was just lacking technique. Outside of that, I just remembered it from the jump.
And you appeared in 8 games in 2023, making 33 tackles and one pick. What kind of stands out to you the most from that 2023 season?
What stands out to me the most from that 2023 season? For a minute there, we were like the number, I think like five. We were top 10 in defenses against the run for a little bit, and that's what I would say I took from that. And I still play with a
And
lot of the guys here.
yeah, I was gonna say, because now I know a lot of guys in that locker room. Obviously, you have some teammates there with you, and then obviously you have teammates that you probably competed against.
hmm
Um, what is is the trash talking, like, is that a thing, or like what kind of is that like?
Yeah, man, we definitely talk to each other. Like, let them know, like, yes, it's CC over here. This Cisco. Like, let them know where they from is not good. They're not better than Cisco. It was especially fun with JK because he went to Navarro, so it was super fun talking to him.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, I'm gonna say, yeah. I just imagine the level of trash talking, and now because I imagine if they play head to head, I can only imagine that the winner of that was probably talking an extremely amount of
Oh
trash
yeah,
talking. I mean,
we definitely were.
answer without question. Now, okay, now in terms of the JUCO guys, who probably is the premier trash talker in that bunch?
Mm. I would definitely say right now, from the JUCO bunch right now, I would probably say the person I seen talk the most was probably Willie Rice.
See, now that's kind of surprising because I feel like Willie gives off the soft spoken vibe, the quiet
Yeah.
vibe.
hmm
Like you talk to him. You might get a few words here and there, but see, it's always the quiet ones you got to watch. So when you
Yes.
said Willie, it's not too surprising. It kind of is, but it's also
Yeah. Another guy who's been chirping out there who's from JUCO is Abner. He got into it pretty good with a couple people at practice.
that is fantastic. That is truly fantastic. That
Honestly,
is
we,
truly.
we we really all talk trash. I'm really not gonna lie. We really all talk.
But now from a lot of you, but having kind of that shared JUCO experience though, like how is that bond like though? Because not everybody's gone through the JUCO experience, come out on the other side, and having the success that you all are having. So is there like an additional bond or kinship there from each of you having a JUCO experience?
I would say I would say yes, there is. It is a lot easier to talk to them whenever they first come in or whenever we first come in. Meeting a JUCO guy, you're like, oh hey, me and you have kind of shared the same experience. But I would say yes, it is very easy to get the chemistry going.
And now after that 2023 season at Cisco, you at some point decide UCO is where you want it to be. So kind of talk about your recruiting process there, and then what led you to decide that UCO is where you wanted to continue your career.
I saw it on the FaceTime first, and then I came and saw it in person. And JMO actually hosted me, so they took me out, showed me what Edmond was like, and I just fell in love with it, especially after I saw the facilities.
And now it wasn't just you who came. It was, I think, Willie. There was
Hmm.
Jalen. There was Daniel. So having those guys, like pretty much the whole Cisco secondary, with you there, um, how big was that for you to just have those guys there during your adjustment period? Getting to know the school, the team, the playbook, everything. How big was it having those guys there?
It's huge having them here. It was super easy to get settled in, and then I never had to worry about like, well, who do I go talk to? Because I got the guys I've been talking to. But it was super fun, and it made the decision a lot easier too. We were on the phone with each other like every other day, like, all right, UCO, right? UCO, okay, let's go.
So now, okay, so it was a conscious decision between the four of you that like we're going to one place and that one place is going to be Ed.
Yes.
Okay, well that's a listen, that's a fantastic sales job then by Coach Pearson and Coach Coach Swanson. Then I mean that's okay. I give okay. All right, that's okay.
It's really hard not to like those guys, man. They got us doing something great over here.
It really is. It really is. All right, so you get to Edmond. Now that's the secondary room, especially in the safeties. You had Dylan Buckhart coming off injury. You had JMO solid season. There were other guys as well. Did you, when you came in, did you expect to have the role that you ended up having come the Langston game, or were you kind of surprised that you were able to maybe ascend that quickly through the depth chart?
Um, I expected to be where I was last year. I was ready to go. Yeah, I really expected to start for this team last year.
And now your first the first game where I think people really their first memory of David Williams was you all's upset over then second ranked Chisholm, Missouri. You had the interception. Kind of walk me through how you were able to make that play.
Uh, he gave me a fade release, so I just played the fade, stayed on top of him, and when I saw his eyes get huge, I turned around and caught the ball.
Now, because now that's something to you mentioned catching the ball. Now I feel like there's a running joke, right, that DBs are receivers that can't catch. So when you
Yeah.
do make a catch, is that like how? Obviously there's a sense of pride there, but like,
Hmm.
is there an extra sense? Like, do you go to the receivers and say like, "See, we can catch too. We all don't have stone hands."
I catch the ball so much, I really don't even know. I just catch it. They got to know I'm gonna catch it by now.
So wait, so what we say? So if Coach Curl decided to push you in there on offense, we throw you a fade route. You
Hmm.
you're confident that you're gonna come down with that catch.
Yes, I'm gonna compete for that ball, and I'm gonna come down with that ball.
Okay, very good. Okay. Uh, okay. And getting that, I had to ask that because like I come on here and because see I have to ask because right when we saw this in Texas, I remember I was watching the tape and there was a handful of drop interceptions, but I said I'm sure he still has hands. Maybe they just weren't shown there, right? Well, then in
Yeah.
2022, he gets a chance against Northeastern State. They just threw a duck into the flat. He reads it. I'm like, all right, see, this is going to prove to me he has hands. David, when I tell you it was a walk-in touchdown, and the man dropped it. So, like, I just and on top of that, when you have guys like Noah Dobson and Montreal Lee that claim you put them out there in like a 50-50 jump ball,
They're gonna
they can
win.
come down with it. It's like, see, I want to believe it, but at the
Yeah.
same time, I just,
Him and Willie used to do that almost after every practice.
Right that now, would he win any of those matchups?
No, he wouldn't win any of them. He might have won
No,
one.
boy, see, now he told me that he won his fair share. You see. This is why I have to do extra digging. See, because if I had taken
Yeah.
that at face value, I'd be like, I don't think that would work. Like we're saying Willie's gonna let you win half. I don't, but I have a hard time buying
No,
that.
it's
But
people who play
I have
receiver
no
for real.
evidence. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but then I have no evidence to dispute the claim, so it's like I have to take his word for it. But I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
No, it can't make no sense, man. Trail just be lying. Trail be lying.
I'm glad we got that cleared up because I'm just like I don't. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not seeing. Okay, I just was
Talking
like
about
now
I'm
maybe
messy.
if you. So, yeah, I was like now maybe if he said he was going up against like a D line, okay, fine, that
Yeah.
I can better see. But like you're telling me you're going up against. Okay, yeah, no, okay, all right. I appreciate you clearing that up because that just was not making sense. And okay, see, this is why I have to keep asking these questions. Okay. Now that's it. The Missouri game for you all. Obviously, that was a massive win. Defensively, though, even though the numbers are going to show that Central Missouri had a lot of success, I felt like if you watch that game, I mean, you held them scoreless in the first quarter. That's very hard to do. Obviously, Zabrowski ended up winning the Harlan Hill. What did that do for you all confidence wise to be able to stifle an offense of that caliber so early on in the season?
I would say it just made us realize what we actually had. Like we put up numbers on Langston, but putting up numbers against them, it was a shootout. But winning that game, I would just say it showed us what we had.
And coming into that game defensively for you, like like it seemed like you all came in there with something to prove. I just
Hmm.
felt like the energy from the start was different. Like was that the case? Like, did you all know that this could be a statement game for you? What kind of was the mindset defensively going into that game?
The mindset going into that game was to get that guy on the ground. We didn't think he played very well when he was flustered, and we showed that.
And then your next biggest game came in that crazy Northeastern State game. Now, at first, because I said it wasn't going to, like, you got to throw the records out. It's a rivalry game, NSU had been in several games up to that point, so I didn't think it was going to be a cakewalk. But I don't think anybody also thought after you all scored on the open play Then after you all responded to their score early, that they would score 33 straight. How are you all defensively able to come out in the second half and hold them to a couple of field goals, force turnovers? How were you all able to flip the script defensively from that first half?
Um, we were able to we fixed our eyes, and that was the number one thing, and then we all just wanted to win, so everyone was just locked in and was doing their job.
And you had two master plays in the game. First, you had the interception there. Kind of walk me through that one. How were you able to come away with that pick?
I was playing outside leverage of my wide receiver. I was over the top of him, and I seen the quarterback throw the ball for something coming from the other side, and so I just went and jumped it.
And now, when you decide to jump, because obviously there's a risk. Like if you don't make the play, don't make the deflection, and there's a catch, then it's probably going to be a substantial gain. As a defender, how do you know when to or when to not, try to jump it and try to make a play, as opposed to kind of just making the safe play?
Um, I would say if you're alone and there's nobody who can tackle that guy behind you, you should make the safe play.
And then you had the forced fumble as well. Now I think that was the first forced fumble that you had in a UCO uniform. How were you able to draw that ball loose?
I don't know. I just put my face right on it. He was trying to dance around. He kind of got wide with the ball, so I just put my face on it.
And I can say now, because I know some, when some guys they more so go try to punch the ball out. It
Hmm.
seems like when you come in there, you kind of come in and you just like, I don't. It almost like you lay the biggest hit that you can. Almost seems like with your shoulder, kind of like to where the ball kind of is. Is there like a strategy behind that, or are you just coming full speed ahead and just like, I'm gonna just give everything I have, and if the ball comes out, the ball comes out?
It's the second one. I just run as fast as I can at him and may the best man win.
And now after that Northeastern State game, which you all sealed on that fourth down start, um, what was the vibe in the locker room after that game? Because I think I had asked Montrell that, because it's like I feel like you could, obviously you all are happy that you won. You kept the cup in Edmond, but I think like given the uneven performance there, having to fight back, against them, what kind of was the vibe in the locker room after that game?
The vibe in the locker room after that game, it was like a normal vibe after a win, but we all knew that we can't just come out and underestimate people and think that it's going to be a cakewalk in this conference.
And then the next week was the Pitt State game, I do believe, and that was the first setback. Now, I thought it was a good game. I just thought that, Pitt got some breaks that we didn't. I felt like, there was some passes that were missed. Missed tackles here, some things there. I felt like, though, it was closer than a 14-point game. But I remember seeing a lot of you all after that game, and just the sheer emotion. And I remember
Mhm.
kind of having the same thing in 2022. I think we were 5-2, and then lost to Pitt, and then like lost our next three games before winning on senior day. And I'm saying I'm hoping that we don't have this again, because we still have a lot of ball left. You all at that point in time, if you had won out, you would at least have a share of the conference. How are
Mhm.
you all able to kind of put that loss behind you and get focused for Missouri Western?
Um, I felt like we did it really, really well. Our coaches were just preaching it like that's just one game. Let's go on to the next one. That week's over. We have a saying on defense, it's today's the worst we'll ever be, and then that's just what we did. We moved on from that day because we knew we had to keep winning.
And then you go to Missouri Western, and that was a very weird game, because before the weather delay, you all were humming along. It seemed like this was going to be a solid rebound performance there. Then the weather delay happened. First, what was that experience like for you having that roughly hour weather delay?
It really was just like it wasn't too bad. I would say it was more so just getting warmed up, going from my adrenaline rushing to my adrenaline stopping to my adrenaline rushing again. It was just an experience, and it was raining. It was kind of cold, but outside of that, it was a good time.
And now, because after that, they came out and looked like a completely different football team, and they had a lead late in that football game, and then a series of events happened that still to this day is just stuff of legends. Obviously, you had Kobe's punt return for the touchdown, but then you also had your play on 3rd and 14. I remember this distinctly because I'm like, oh boy, they're going to throw a flag. But then I realized, well, it's 3rd down. If they get the 1st down, we lose anyway. So I'm thinking maybe Davis just like, you know what, if I get called for targeting, I can call for targeting. But like you came from out of frame, like on the video, you literally come from out of frame. And I'm watching this yesterday, and I'm like, oh, I see where he's headed. And you're coming full speed down at this man, and you just unload on this guy. Now, I have to ask, after you laid that hit, did you think at that point they were going to call you for targeting?
Yeah, actually did. I was like, dang, I just rocked him, and then I saw the flag, and I was like, dang. And then I immediately, like I said in the previous one, I looked up in the press box because I felt like TP was gonna say something to me, but then I realized the situation, and it was all right.
And now, when did you realize that you have forced the ball out of him? Because I know, I mean, there was just a lot of chaos immediately after you
Mhm.
delivered that hit.
Oh, I knew he dropped it as soon as I hit him. I keep my eyes open when I tackle.
Okay, now that because now I know a lot of guys when they come in full speed and give everything they have, they close their eyes and brace for impact. But what you said, like you keep them open all the way through the point of the point of impact.
Yeah, my eyes are open the whole time. It's easier to tackle when you can see him.
Okay, okay, because I know it can be kind of painful to deliver the lick, so I feel like
Hmm.
it's kind of like a natural reaction thing to kind of close your eyes and boom with the impact. But okay. I mean, listen, I knew Dan Williams was a different cat, but okay. I mean, this is. I mean, okay. Okay, hey, okay. Um. Oh yeah. So okay. So you saw that he dropped the ball. Um. And then when you found out that they weren't going to call the targeting and that your forced fumble actually pushed the ball back beyond the 1st down marker, which forced them to have to give you all the ball back. Talk about what were you feeling in that moment, knowing that at least for that point in time you kept comeback hopes alive.
Uh, my first initial thought was probably like, okay, I'm about to have to press, so I can't lose at the line. I would say
And,
that was
and
probably
now
my first thought.
And now, obviously, you were able to come back, win that game. You got a 4th down stop. Dawson comes in, leads the game tying touchdown drive. You get the stop on the first drive of overtime. Talk about though, like when you all got that stop defensively. What were the emotions going through you all because you all just delivered like one heck of a quarter and a half stretch of just clutch football.
Hmm. Uh, it was exhilarating. Like I think that's the happiest I've ever been. It was the funnest game. It was the funnest environment. It was like the way it happened was just so Cinderella. It was cool.
Yeah, because I remember once that Nicky field goal had went through the uprights, and then they were saying that there was a flag. I was like, bro, come on now, like this is ridiculous. And then they said it was offside. I'm sitting there like, listen, watching UCO football is not for the faint of heart because
Hmm.
I'm sitting there like sweating through 50 shirts. Like this is insane. And then the following week against Washburn, I mean, I was fortunately there to see it in person, but again, I'm sitting there, we're coming down. Like when they were able to get in field goal range at the end of the game with a chance to hit the game winning field goal. Well, what were the thoughts going through you all's mind? Because I feel like, while yes, ideally the goal is to block the kick, I just think naturally it's more of like that's going to be slim type of thing. But just like in that moment, before that final ball was snapped, what kind of was going through your mind, through your head at that point?
Sorry, what was the question again? I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. You're good. The final play of the Washburn game,
Yes, okay.
before the kick, what kind of was going through your mind? Because I know, like for me and Brannick in the box, it was like, damn, like not like this, man. So like, yeah, it's just
Yeah.
what kind of was going through your mind?
I was like, dang, it's a must-have kick. They're right here. If they make it, it's gonna suck. We gotta block it. And then Connor Johnson, man.
What now? Yeah, because now when the kick was blocked, what what were the emotions there?
Oh man, I think the first I can't even say it on here, but I was super excited, man. I was super excited. Oh man, I was happy. I was like, let's go, man. Fought another week. Let's do it. You got to keep winning.
I just remember because Brandon kind of recorded that, and we're in the corner. So like so like the way the Washburn press box is, it's like for some reason they have like a booster section like right next to the media section, and there's like a clear glass window. So like they were talking mess to us, like that whole like comeback attempt. And when we blocked the kick, it was Brandon and I sitting right there. And you could have heard a pin drop in that press box. And I remember, we were just like, did we really just block that kick? It's like we saw the ball snap, we saw it go up, and then we immediately saw it go down, and we're like, oh, we just blocked that kick. I just what was the locker room like? I'm just curious.
We returned, but I was kind of banged up that game, so I was just trying to shower and get back on the bus. But I was really, really excited, and so was the rest of the team.
Now, I do have to ask this because I think Montreal had told me that was after the Northeastern State game that like amongst that celebration, there were dudes that were eating fruit snacks. Now, was that the case after the Washburn game as well? Like, the middle of the celebration, there were guys just chilling, eating fruit snacks and such.
Yeah, eating fruit snacks, oranges. The little granola bars that got the chocolates in them, smashing all of that, drinking Gatorade. Like we having a good time. Everybody get ready to go.
That's fantastic. And then so you all clinched the share with that win. And now the following week it was senior day, it was Emporia. If you all won that game, you all will win the conference outright. I think there was some concern that maybe that the pressure, I wouldn't say was getting to you all, but I remember talking to Coach after Washburn, and he was saying how he could see like a weight was lifted off of you all's shoulders. And I was telling guys at the tailgate, I'm like, if what Coach said was true, and they come out and play like they did the first half of the season, I mean, we should probably dominate these guys, and that was the case. How were you all able to maybe play more loose, more free? In that Emporia game?
We just really trusted our scheme. What the coaches had drawn up in the film room went really good at practice, and we all just trusted it, and it worked.
Yeah, because because defensively, again, I mean, the way you all can't start that football, it was to a point for a minute there. I'm like, there's a smidge of me that kind of feels bad for Gundy in the way, because it was just like nonstop. I mean, they were getting nothing running, they were getting nothing passing. I mean, you all were getting a pass rush. I just was insane. So, like, how are you all able to start off so fast defensively and really just like stifle them before they could do anything?
That whole week we were saying in our team meetings, like, do we want to share it, or do we want to do it? And everyone just played like they really wanted to win that cup, wanted to win.
And now, when they gave you the trophy and you got to hold the trophy, what kind of was going through your mind? Because I imagine, looking back at kind of the road you got to that point, what were you feeling in that moment?
Man, I felt awesome. This was the first time I've ever even been on a winning team. Every team I've ever been on has been a losing team, but being around these guys, meeting new people, and not knowing what I was gonna actually get myself into coming to Oklahoma, but it was one of the best seasons I've ever had in my life.
And what did that also mean to you to share it with Willie and Daniel and Jalen as well?
It felt so awesome because we all put our brains together and we were like, yeah, we're going here, and then it just worked out in the best possible way it could have for us.
And then with little time to really celebrate, because you had a playoff game like literally the next week there. It was a back and forth game. You all were able to get the stop there on 4th and goal. Talk about again, like, so many times this year the story, and maybe at times was rightfully so, was the offense. But I think Jack Puckett said it best to Ian and I after Fort Hays, that I think Ian had asked him, like, how does it feel kind of being like the B story to the offense? And
Mm.
Jack was saying that the B story can become the main story pretty quick. And down the stretch, you all's play really did save our season. Talk, like, what does that mean to you as a unit to come up with those bigger stops down the stretch, helping you all have the success?
Man, it's just I don't know how to explain it to you really. We just really we have players on our team that can step up in huge moments, and when we need those huge moments, the people that step up usually do.
And now, obviously the Ferris game didn't go as we had hoped. But when you kind of look back on your season in 12 games, you had 66 tackles, 3 forced fumbles, 1 recovery, two picks. Did it live up to the expectations and goals that you had for yourself entering the season?
It was honestly, I don't like setting expectations on the season. I rather just like I don't like putting limitations on what God can give me. So going into that season with 66 tackles, 3 forced fumbles, 1 recovery, and 2 interceptions, it was in my opinion, I feel like that was a good starter season. But I know that I can accomplish more, and my goal this season is just to be my best self.
And what do you feel like you could have to improve upon in order for that to happen?
In order for that to happen, I think I need to apply myself in every situation of life way more than I am right now.
Now, you had the spring game against Southern Nazarene. First, um, how big was it being able to play somebody else for a spring game instead of playing each other like you had all through spring ball?
Well, that's the first time I've ever played another team for spring ball, but it was really fun getting into things a little earlier, getting us into like the football groove of how things are going to go during the season with the meetings and what we're going to talk about in our scheme right before we even get into OTAs for summer. I thought it was really, really fun.
And you had a tone setting play in that football game. You just laid the wood on a poor, hapless Crimson Storm offensive player there. It just Just I just like, I'm like, man, here we are. It's a spring scrimmage. I'm thinking, obviously we want to go out there and execute, but we want to, maybe not, try to take somebody's head off here. I
Mhm.
mean, you had the hit, and then Connor Johnson just destroyed a poor quarterback. I'm like, it's like I just, like, okay, so, like, is there any, like, is there any gear to Dave Williams beside just like full speed ahead? Is there like a medium? Is there or is it just like there's only one way David plays, and that's
Yeah,
just like full steam ahead?
I only know one speed, and that's full speed.
no, now I will say I felt like your big hit though it was a tone setter. I felt like momentum had shifted after that.
Mhm.
Um, Defensively, how do you feel like you all did in your time on the field against Southern Nazarene?
I thought defensively we did pretty good. They run about the same type of offense that Fair State runs, so I thought coming from that Fair State game where they was gashing us with the run, hitting us every gap. I thought coming to that Southern Nazarene, although it is different levels of competition there, I thought we did pretty good against that option.
And now there are some losses in that secondary. Buck High, J.K., J-Mo. Now kind of being one of the elder statesmen. Now one of the more Okobe as well. One of the more productive guys back in that unit. From a leadership standpoint, now, what if anything do you feel like you have to do more to kind of ensure that there's minimal or no drop off in that unit this upcoming season?
This upcoming season to ensure that we just have to live by the standard that we're coached to live by, and we all have to really buy into what we're being taught schematically.
And how do you feel like you individually can uphold your part and make sure that everybody else upholds theirs?
I can lead by example. I can be a really good lead by example guy. I bring the juice, and if I'm doing what's right, maybe the younger guys and everybody else will fall in line.
And you mentioned younger guys because I feel like it's always kind of important to prepare that next group of guys to uphold the standard. Um, how can you being a junior and the other upperclassmen in a room, how can you help those guys get to that level so to where whenever you all are done, that the standard in that room stays the same?
hmm I would say like if when they come in young, man, we honestly get to just chisel them into our mentalities and our way of a team. But of course, they're gonna lead how they lead, but we can always just show them here are the reins. That this is where we're leaving it off.
And now, I guess before we get you out of here, we do this with some more get to know you type questions. Let's see. Okay, your favorite sports team can be any sport.
Oh, my favorite sports team, any sport, definitely the Los Angeles Rams. No, actually, the Philadelphia Phillies.
Okay, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, now that's two the different markets right there, on two different coasts, none of which are near Texas. So how did we end up being a Rams and a Phillies fan?
Man, I fell in love with Todd Gurley and Jared Goff for the Rams, and then for the Phillies, I was a big Rollins fan, Ryan Howard fan. I was big those guys. Chase Utley, I was
Okay,
big Chase Utley fan.
okay. Now, do you think the Rams in its current construction with Stafford and such, you think they have a run left in them, or is that door kind of shut for them?
No, man, we got a great coach. We got great receivers. We got a great quarterback. This could be our season, man. Any season can be our season. We just won it just a couple years ago. Why can't we go back? Why not the Rams?
Okay. I mean, I feel like there's another pro team in Philly that might have something to say about that. I just feel like that could be a potential problem.
Yeah, we might need Todd Gurley
You
back.
got the 49ers in your division. That's also a
Yeah,
potential problem.
Matthew
It's not,
Stafford better than Brock Purdy.
it's not, as easy as making it sound, David. Like it's, like, that's okay. Do you have a favorite defensive player or defensive back that you like to watch?
Yes, Buda Baker.
Okay. 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 I can that does track. Okay. Okay. I can see it there. I can see it there. Now the man did get paid. So how do you feel about him kind of raising the bar there for the safety market in terms of their value?
Oh, that's great. I love that. Because now it's time for safeties to get paid, man. They pay us to make interceptions, man, and I'm trying to catch some picks, so I want to get paid.
Is it okay? Your favorite hobby outside of football?
My favorite hobby outside of football is probably I like playing my video game, but I like hunting more.
Okay, okay. Now, when we say the video game, now are we Xbox, PlayStation, or PC?
Oh, we're P5 PlayStation.
Okay, yeah. I feel like the majority of people are playing. And there's only I know Coach Curley is an Xbox guy.
Yeah, those guys are weird.
What is, wow. Okay, so now, so were you? Were you? Yeah, it's tough. So were you always a PlayStation guy, or did you make the jump at some point?
I was always a PlayStation guy, but I got an Xbox 360 and an Xbox One, and after the first year of the Xbox One, I was like, man, the PlayStation's just way better. And then they came out with the P5, and there's no going back.
Okay, okay, yeah. See, I feel like a lot of people, myself included, went from PS2 to 360,
Hmm.
then to the PlayStation again. I think after the 360. So okay,
Yeah,
okay, that's it.
that's
And now,
exactly what happened.
what is your game of choice?
I like GTA.
Okay,
I like
okay.
running up
Now, do you have
millions
a
on
favorite
GTA.
GTA?
Yeah, GTA 5. That's probably my favorite one. I love running up millions on that one. When Vice City and San Andreas came out, I was honestly a little too young to understand what I was supposed to be doing. But now I get it. And I make money on GTA. I love GTA.
So I feel like San Andreas is that probably my favorite one. It's just
Mhm.
yeah, it's so good.
Yeah,
I just yeah, the
I really like
remaster
Vice
not so
City.
much.
Yeah, I really like Vice City though. Vice City was fun.
Yeah. I do agree. Okay, okay, that's very good. Now you all mentioned that you also like the hunt. What is your favorite type of game to hunt?
Wild Hogs. I like shooting boars.
Boars. Okay, now
Yeah.
now why the wild hogs?
It's just fun. You can shoot as many as you want. It's fun.
Okay, now is there is there a certain approach or technique that you take with hunting them? Like how do we efficiently hunt wild hogs?
Well, I hunt with tripods, but there's a bunch of different ways you can go hunt them. I like to walk up to like 50, 30 yards away, set my tripod up, and I hunt at nighttime sometimes, so I got a night vision on there, and I like to shoot them in their head because they roll. They got like big old armor plates all back here, so if you shoot them right there, they might keep on running.
Okay, okay, this is interesting. Now, what is the hey, I did not take David Williams for a hunter. Okay, now what would you say do you enjoy most about hunting?
I don't know. I honestly, what I like to hear is when the bullet hits them. It makes like a poof sound, but it sounds cool though. Like you can definitely tell the bullets hitting them.
And now, what's the biggest hog that you've captured before?
Uh, I usually shoot like regular size, but my dad shot a really, really big one time. I was about to pull up a picture and show you, but it would take me forever to find it.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So okay, your favorite food.
My favorite, I like Mexican food.
Okay. Okay. Now, um, what is the dish of choice?
My dish of choice is probably like a burrito. I like burritos, and I really honestly just eat chips and salsa. That's my favorite Mexican dish.
Okay. Now, who in your opinion has the best chips and salsa?
Ooh, that's hard. Ooh, oh man, I say there's a place in there's a place in Waco called Rose's Cafe, and I would say their salsa is probably top 10.
Okay. 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 Let's see. Okay. Your favorite musical artist
Oh, right now my favorite musical artist is K Suave.
is who?
His name K Suave.
It's wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what type like what genre is he?
He's like a, I don't know. It's like a fast rap. It's like I don't know how to explain it really. It's like just like the new generation of rap, really.
Okay. Okay. And you have a favorite song by him?
Yeah, I do have a favorite song by him. It's called Handout.
Okay. Okay. Now, I always ask this because I get different answers. Now, I know that the aux cord, very brutal place to be. Your phone
Mhm.
will get yanked if the vibe is not being
Yes,
met. So have you ever been on the aux cord and your phone has been yanked off?
yes, plenty of times. This so sometimes people just they don't want to listen to what you want to listen to. They want to listen to what they want to listen to. So they yank it. I don't ever think nothing about it because I yank people's cords too.
Well, okay, wait that now. Okay, wait that. So now you, but so the fact though that you can get yanked seems to be kind of somewhere often. Though it doesn't deter you from still being on the aux cord.
No, it doesn't. It's just not what people want to listen to that day.
Okay, so now who in your opinion is the best on the aux cord?
Rob,
Okay, okay,
Rob Givens.
okay. Now
He
what
plays
about
music for
Rob?
everyone.
Okay, okay, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Now who's the worst?
Ooh, the worst. Who gets on the aux and let everybody be like turn it off? Probably the young guys. I say the young guys get on the aux. No, I ain't gonna lie. The young guys get on the aux and everyone starts dancing. The worst on the aux would probably be like hell. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. It's hard. I really like everyone's music. I'm a real big music guy. I like to listen to all types of music. So if it's that type of day, I'll vibe to it.
Okay, okay. It's
But definitely
definitely okay.
Trail. Definitely Trail.
Okay, okay. Now wait. Now what? Okay, so what is it about Trell that makes him the worst on the ox in your opinion?
Really, it just he's just the worst at playing music. Like, I would much rather listen to anybody else's music than Trail music.
Okay, but now as somebody who said that they like all types, so what is it about his? What is it about his that just doesn't do it for you though?
It's just he said he beat Willie in them one on ones and he didn't, and y'all just can't let that go.
Oh, that's see, I appreciate that. See, what David being a true friend, a true teammate, backing his secondary mate. See, you gotta respect that. See, David Williams, stand up guy right there. See,
Ah,
there
appreciate
we
that.
go. Let's see. Now in terms of gear, now I think you wear. Obviously, you have gloves. I think you have. Is it one sleeve? I think. Um. So okay, now I have to. Now, why just the one sleeve?
I don't know, man. I really just like to do like calm drip, you know. I like to go like the little tight compression shirt. But one sleeve is just like sometimes like when I wear navy blue, I can only wear one sleeve because all I have is one navy blue sleeve. But if we wear white accessories, I might be able to put two sleeves on. So I invested in some rubber bands and stuff like that, some tights just to switch it up from week to week.
Okay, okay. Now with the graduation of Mosley, who was the self-proclaimed swaggiest
Yes.
player in the secondary for the past 3 years and counting now. Who do you think, in your opinion, is going to take up that mantle and become the swaggiest DB in that room?
Ooh, the swaggiest DB is gonna be me. I'm gonna put that. I'm gonna put it on. I'm gonna look good when
Okay,
I go out there.
okay, okay. Well, you heard it here first. Okay, okay.
No, but
We
it may
shall.
not be JMO's, but JMO used to put it on.
Well, you know, I mean, we know J-Mo just jack of all trades, supposedly S tier Madden player, right? He was
Supposedly.
that's what he claimed. That's what he claimed. He told me numerous times that
Yeah.
he had a specific playbook that he would not divulge. That is just unstoppable. That no one else could back up his claims. I asked several people, no one was able to verify that claim. Right? He's the self-proclaimed drippiest defensive back. Some people gave it to him. Some people didn't. So, you know,
Yeah. JMO. I love JMO.
So I just say, okay, all right, there we go. Okay, listen, you have any pregame routines that you normally do?
Oh yeah, drink a Celsius.
Okay, a Celsius. Okay, now I feel like most is drinking Gatorade, Powerade, or water. Now, why is it a Celsius?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I just drink a Celsius before every game. It's like a habit. I gotta have one.
Okay, now is there a certain flavor of Celsius though?
Oh no, it's really like taste the rainbow. I might reach in there. Sometimes I don't even look. I just grab them.
Okay, okay, okay. Let's see. Again, what is it like playing for Coach Pearson and Coach Swanson?
It's really fun, man. These guys are well. Coach TP ain't 30 under 30, but Coach Swanson is, and it's just really fun playing with them, man. The way they coach us and the way that they push us to be better players every single day is just awesome. I love playing for them.
And when I talked to Coach Swanson after the Southern Nazarene game, when I brought up your name among the people, because of the graduations, he without hesitation called you special.
Hmm.
What does that mean to you to have a man that you respect and enjoy playing for, um, kind of heap that amount of praise on you?
It just makes me feel wonderful as a player and as a person because knowing that someone believes in you, especially your defensive coordinator, goes a really long way in your confidence and how you step on the field and play.
And I guess finally, even though I know you don't like to put expectations on a season, but what can UCO fans expect to see out of David Williams this upcoming season?
They can expect to see my best, man. I'm coming out here, and that's my goal is to put my best abilities on the field, and that's what I plan to show.
Okay, well, David, I appreciate you taking time to come on and talk to me. I know when we talked to you post game after Southern Nazarene, I don't know if it was the lighting or the wind, but people were really impressed by the appearance there. I was like, well, look at what David. Yeah, there was. I think Mr. Williams, Braden Waters' grandfather had left a comment saying that you have like a movie star. So I was like, well, look
Oh
at David
man,
Williams here. Just
a movie
you
star.
know, Exactly. I was like, dang, look at David just, hard hitting on the field and movie star looks off the field. I feel like that's a winning combination,
Yeah.
David. I'm just
I'm a
saying.
real,
Man,
yeah, man. I'm a real suave type of guy, man. You know what I'm saying? You.
Now, wait, listen, hey,
Fire.
somebody has to pick that up from JMO now. Okay, so you know what I'm saying? Somebody gotta pick that up now. That's 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 kind of a heavy crown to wear now. So
Yeah.
that's he was jack of all trades. So that's it. But yeah, no, I appreciate you taking time to come on. I'm wishing you the best of luck this off season, and anytime you want to come back on, you're more than welcome to.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you for having me.